if you turn it sideways, then you'll go big screen so we can see even better. There you go. There, you look great.
Here we go.
Or as Billy Crystal would say.
I cannot see myself, so I don't know what you see on me.
We're going live.
And yeah, on the phone, it's not giving me the ability to type in, apparently, so.
That's cool. We'll do it the old-fashioned way, audio.
Okay.
Awesome, y'all. Well, welcome
And
to
we're
the Texas
live.
Hemp Party. It's Thursday, August something, 27th? Yes, 2020. I'm out here at Bastrop at the beautiful Bastrop Hub. Thank them for having me today with their very nice internet. I appreciate it. I'm sitting out in the hot Texas sun because I'm really loud and I didn't want to disturb all my other co-working friends. But it's actually really nice. I love being in the sun. I'm, of course, your host, Leah Laxtons. I'm a native Kentuckian with a passion for hemp adoption across the country. Joined today by my two fabulous co-hosts. Of course, we've got Captain Cannabis and the amazing, our producer, the amazing
Hey guys.
Cynthia. There we go. We've got a little
Great to
delay,
see
but go
you.
on, Captain Cannabis.
Hey, what's up?
And the amazing Cynthia Morales, our producer.
Hola.
And of course, the one that keeps us all straight and educated. And we're super stoked to also have Lee with us today. Lee's from Austin. He's involved in several different parts of the hemp industry. So we're super stoked to have him with us. We're going to talk about some of the latest news, and we're going to party like we always do because it's a Texas Hemp Party.
Oh yeah.
So let's get started, guys. So there's a couple of really interesting events coming up. I thought that we'll get into those a little bit here in a few minutes, but let's really just start and get right into it with Lee here. Lee, tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got in the hemp industry, and what all you're into these days.
Well, thank you for having me on. My name is Lee Vernon. I am a retired Austin firefighter. I was a fireman and medic for 27 years and still active, but retired with the city. And then when I retired, I had noticed that we were dealing with one of the largest things first responders deals that we have is substance abuse. And that's in the way of prescription medications, of dealing with PTSD and broken bodies, and just it wears and tears on us mentally and physically. And when I retired, I no longer had to worry about, hey, peeing in a cup. And I wanted to find a solution naturally that could solve so many of the issues we deal with. That led me on about a year journey across the entire United States, visiting farms, extraction, manufacturers, labs, trying to find a holistic, natural remedy that was THC free. And that proved extremely hard. But we found that and have built some incredible partnerships. And that's what got us, we created First Responder Fuel. We are a 100% THC free, broad spectrum, hemp-based infused products. And so those were something that we started with that and started developing our own products and formulas to address issues like sleep issues, PTSD, aches, pain, all the stuff that we deal with. And we've had some really great success. We finally opened and launched that back in February, and we're growing steadily. As well as First Responder Fuel, another catalyst for that company is we have a nonprofit charity called the Brotherhood of Heroes Foundation. It is a charity for first responders and their families. And so every sale, there are proceeds that go to support the foundation, because in today's day and age, it's hard. I get it. People are tired of constantly getting, requested for handouts and help. So we were able to accommodate that by First Responder Fuel. We give back to the community, and this helped support the foundation. and doing good. And matter of fact, we're about to donate to an individual that's in need due to his wife having a medical problem. And we're going to, now that the hurricane rolled through Louisiana and Texas, we will be looking at this week, getting together and seeing what we can do to go and help those first responders and their families that were affected by the hurricane. So that led us to that. We also have a consulting company for here in Texas. I've partnered with some very key significant people, and we offer turnkey services for the hemp industry, from growing. You want to start something, you need something, whether it be marketing, you name it, anything in the cannabis industry, not just for here in Texas, but other states. We have professionals that can come in here and really save you time, money, and a lot of frustration. So it's just about building a name, a reputable name, and doing it right, because we've seen where it's failed, or maybe not failed, but hadn't gone as well as it should in other states. And we have a chance in Texas to lead the way, and let's learn from those mistakes and make sure we do it right. And that way we don't have problems later on. So that's it in a nutshell.
Incredible.
That's amazing, Lee. Well, I think that's really awesome that you're consulting with farmers and different parts of the industry here in Texas, because like you said, traveling the country, you've seen so much, and man, definitely broad spec products are really difficult to come by, quality ones. So you sharing that knowledge with the brothers and sisters here in Texas in the hemp industry is really awesome. And what a fantastic resource for them to get to have. But I love the charity aspect that you're doing as well, of course. And, you know, we talked about this, I think it was last week, with some of the issues around the military and how they're, you know, pretty against CBD products in general, just because they're concerned that there could be some residual THC in there and other issues. So I love the fact that you're opening this up to the availability of a product that doesn't have THC to first responders and educating along the way. Where are the products available? Are these in retail stores here in Texas, or are you e-commerce?
I'm working on getting with the boutique CBD shops in Texas, working with some in Colorado. Right now, currently, I have Liberty Hill Pharmacy and Compounding. They carry all of our products. So everything else is online. I chose not to do a brick and mortar and to do online. We also have an affiliate program to where people can come in and help support the business. They feel good and they're doing good in multiple ways. So with that, I think the biggest thing that we tried to do that I noticed in the industry is the transparency. And what I saw was, after going to cities and entities and municipalities, they wanted it, as they call it, bomb-proof. And just having a COA wasn't enough. And when I started researching, and there may be somebody out there, but I couldn't find them, that publicized and went out and did third-party drug testing with a verified hospital. And I saw that nobody did that. And to prove that, hey, what I'm speaking is the truth, we went out and did third-party independent drug testing, did the Department of Transportation 10 panel. And so we publicized that. It's on our website. And then what I do now is, with several clients have permission, we have set up a program. We'll send them down. They'll do their drug testing. We get that back. We mark out the important stuff of personal information, but we will then publicize, try to do it on a quarterly basis. Been a little hard with COVID, but we try to once a quarter provide updated drug testing. It's not just, hey, we did it once and we're done. We continue to provide that transparency and openness to show that it can be done. It does take some work and effort and a little bit of money to do that. But I think that was utterly important in trying to prove that you're not going to lose your job.
That's marvelous.
Wow. Yeah. I don't think I've ran into any brand that's doing that, because you're actually drug testing the individual to prove that basically over long-term use. That's very interesting. Yeah. What great peace of mind. I know that's what we typically sometimes get that question on our tours. People are like, well, you know, is this going to make me pop a positive? And with full spectrum, I mean, it really depends on so many factors: metabolism, weight, the product they're taking, all of these things. So just the COA enough on a product like that isn't necessarily going to provide that peace of mind. And then we hear a lot about broad specs that maybe are more like full specs, and it, kind of is a complicated process. So that is really cool.
And is this testing? Oh,
Go
sorry.
ahead.
But is this testing that you're doing, is that only on an isolate or a broad spectrum, or is this also for a full spectrum, which does have that 0.3% THC?
We only provide broad spectrum. Full spectrum, I'm not going to carry any line with any THC because that's somebody's career. So we went broad. We don't deal with isolate. So all of our products are broad spectrum. And for those that are tuning in, if you really want some detailed information, I have a medical company as well. So we really come from the side of medicine, holistic medicine, rescue, street medicine. If you want to read in depth, I wrote for Kush, and I also write for Texas Hemp Reporter. I've got, matter of fact, the latest issue that I believe that just came out for the Texas Hemp Reporter. My article is on drug testing specifically and what to look for, things to look at, things to be cognizant of, because there are some things, it depends on the test itself. If you're doing a DOT, Department of Transportation drug test, 5 or 10 panel, you're good. It's looking specifically for THC. But there are some companies out there, they're far and few, but there's some drug testing that goes on that if they're just testing for cannabinoid, you're going to pop hot because that's what you're consuming. But what most people don't realize is you could pop hot on a cannabinoid if you take coconut oil, certain vegetable oils, certain fruits. There's foods that we naturally can take that could cause a positive on just a cannabinoid test. So you really want to make sure, know the test that you're taking. That's a big important factor that nobody knows or understands. Look for a Department of Transportation 5 or 10 panel, because that is very specific. They're looking for THC, not a cannabinoid in general. So just some information to pass on.
Very interesting. And can we find a link to those articles on your social media somewhere or on the website?
Absolutely. I'll provide those for y'all. So y'all can share those out. And then I got to put the Texas Hemp Reporter article up. Kush should already be up on there, that article, but I'll share both with y'all so people can read up on those.
Fantastic. Well, that's so cool, Lee. We're so excited to have someone with your knowledge and very niche, knowledge that we don't often hear from a lot of brands. So it's exciting to have you here today. So we want to talk a little bit about some events that are coming up virtually for everyone to enjoy. The Emerge Cannabis Conference. We're super stoked about this. It's starting on September 7th. And I'm really excited because I've actually been invited to be a speaker on this panel about cannabis tourism. And there's some really cool people on this panel. I think it's going to be hosted by Brian Applegrath, who is the head of the California Cannabis Tourism Association that we're a member of, and we absolutely love everything that they're doing in the world of promoting cannabis tourism, especially right now. Obviously, the tourism industry has been hit quite hard, as many of us have been, but particularly inside of tourism. So they really continue to provide an outlet for education and the latest information on what's happening in tourism during this time. So highly encourage you to go check out the Emerge Cannabis Conference, sign up for it. I believe there's a free ticket, and then there's a paid ticket that will allow you to access the education over a period of several weeks. And a percentage of that ticket, I believe it's like $39. Let's see, what does it say there? $25 and then a $10. So percentage of these tickets is going to be donated to our favorite cause, the Last Prisoner Project, who we know it's insane. It's insane. People cannot believe this when we say that. Did you know that in Colorado, even though cannabis has been legal for this long, there are still people in prison for less than an ounce being caught with this plant? So it's totally mind-blowing. Nobody believes it. It's absolutely true. And Last Prisoner Project is out to make those changes across the country. So you want to support that mission? A great way to do it is to buy a ticket to the Emerge Cannabis Conference, and you can hear what we have to say when it comes to consumer statistics and cannabis tourism here in the United States for sure.
I want to buy a ticket.
Cynthia,
I'm going to buy one.
yeah, absolutely. You should. The lineup's really great. I'm stoked about it. It's like all the familiar faces that you always see at a lot of these events. So I'm very, very excited to be included in it, like no doubt. Another really cool event coming up is the summer solstice being put on by Can I Work. Can I Work is actually summer okay, yeah, the Harvest Moon. There we go. The Harvest Moon
They had a summer solstice one in the summer, but now harvest time is coming, so they're having a harvest. Yeah.
I guess that makes a lot of sense that it wouldn't be summer in October still. It feels like it's still summer, to me, because I'm here outside today. But so October 1st, the Harvest Moon Virtuation. Can I Work is a really cool organization backed by an amazing lady based out of Dallas, Texas. And we've been to a few of their events. We absolutely loved them. Or I think you met her at another event, right, Cynthia? Like you met her in a speed networking?
Yeah, actually, I met her during a 5-minute speed networking, which is really cool because if you don't connect with each other, it really is like dating. You can swipe, see all the people, but if you don't click like and they don't click like, you don't get to actually connect. So I'm so happy that Shamika liked me. And we were able to just, get together and be a part of all of their great projects that they have going on. So super excited for those.
So mark down your calendar for October 1st. We love Event High too, by the way. EventHigh.io always has some amazing events listed there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I can't wait to go.
They're also going to have really cool swag, actually, from all of the sponsors and speakers. Everyone's kind of putting in something together. So any of the attendees, when you sign up, you're eligible. You'll receive an email and you'll get some discount codes, coupons, and how to get all this swag. So it's cool and it's for free. So yay, it'll be good.
Yay.
Free Texas based, cool, awesome education. It sounds like a home run. So be sure to go sign up for it. I think we're speaking at this as well. Is that right, Cynthia? Or we're on a panel or we're doing something.
Yes, we will be a part of this event. Yeah, we'll be speaking.
So it should be an absolute blast. Make sure you go check that out as well. And let's see, what else do we have? Oh, yes, I'm super stoked about this one. Most of you know, last year we hosted a panel on Austin Startup Week. I love doing events like that because we get to talk to people who really don't know that much about the hemp industry, and it's a lot of fun. So we had our good friend Dalton O'Neill from Greenlight Events come down and be on our panel. Well, he returned the favor. He's on hosting this panel for Dallas Startup Week. And Cynthia, you are going to be a part of this along with, this lineup is killer because he's got Chelsea Spencer, who of course is leading the lawsuit against DSHS on the smokable ban. Richard Chang, who teaches at North Texas University. And for Farhaj, I don't think we know him, so I'm excited to get to know him better. And of course, Cynthia. So this is an all-star lineup packed with knowledge. And when is this? This is next week, right?
Yeah, this will be next week, September 3rd. So next Thursday, right after our live, I'll be jumping on to Startup Week, and it'll be from 2 to 3. So back to back.
Ooh, you're good. That's gonna be you're gonna have a little packed day there, aren't you?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And yeah, we hope, hopefully we continue with our mission, of course, and just continuing with this network opportunity that so many of us are dying for right now, especially because in Texas everything is really so new. Even though people have been doing it for years, this is going to be the forefront year for sure. Now that licensings are out, actual rules, and we know a little bit more of concrete details, it'll be new information for sure from last Startup Week. So everything's
absolutely
changed. A lot more people.
Oh
lot
my
more
gosh,
people too,
everything.
right?
It has literally changed 100% since this time last year. So if you're interested in the hemp industry and what's going on in Dallas, you're going to definitely want to check out this event. And Lee, do you have any events coming up that you're participating in? I guess one today, the one you're on here with us,
Right.
but do you have anything exciting going on?
Unfortunately, I was scheduled to speak at 10 conferences this year. And then when COVID hit, all that got wiped out. So far, all the conferences we were a part of have not rescheduled or even done some of the virtual. So I kind of wrote this year off and focused on some other things, looking to get into speaking again. I've been doing that for about 6 years on different
wow.
organizations and stuff. So looking to get back into the speaking and educating side of things, just have not found anything really out there or have been approached by anybody. It's been kind of quiet for us. So I'm always interested to speak and share information and knowledge.
Absolutely. So if you're looking for a great speaker, definitely hit Lee up. I know, like, I love all the virtual stuff, but there's something about being in front of a crowd, especially when they're like, I want to get into hemp. What's it all about? And CBD, and you feel that energy. I really missed that. I think Lucky Leaf, I was really stoked for Lucky Leaf. That getting canceled was a definite bummer,
Yep.
but I think they've rescheduled for next year. So we're just going to have to we're going to have to hang in there on this virtual stuff for a little while. I did see that who is going to try to do a live event in Oklahoma. It's one of the CannaCon. So I'm kind of interested to see how that goes. I don't know what's up in Oklahoma that they seem to be getting to do more things live. I guess maybe they're not having the numbers or stats or something that we have here, or they're out in the country. But we'll see. Maybe we'll see if that starts to work its way back to real life, if they can pull that off.
I know I went to that last year.
They just postponed it.
Oh yeah.
Actually.
Oh, did they? Okay.
Yeah.
So never mind.
It might be it's supposed to be in September 28th, but I don't know.
I know I attended that last year. I think they had it last year, same time, and it was a really good conference. I was pretty impressed with the turnout was phenomenal, and vendors and everything else. That was actually a really well done conference.
That's awesome. Yeah, I went to their virtual one a few weeks ago and it was really good. Yeah, so it looks like they're still trying to pull it off. So we wish them the best and getting that done in a healthy, happy manner there in Oklahoma. We'll see how that turns out. But I saw some interesting news this week. I think it came out yesterday. A site I really enjoy is Marijuana Moment. They always have a lot of up-to-date information on hemp as well. Very well-written articles. I love following them on Twitter as well. They seem to always have the latest, greatest. So this is an interesting study that came out about vaping. And I think this is of concern to us here in Texas, because our smokable ban, of course, doesn't just include pre-rolls, it includes CBD vapes as well. Whether isolate, broad spec, full spec, all of these are banned, meaning you can still consume them in Texas, but they are illegal to retail here. So this is interesting because this recent study that just came out talks about how really the vaping crisis we experienced the end of last year, which was so sad, of course, that the states affected the most by this were where cannabis is illegal. That states that have legal access to cannabis experience the least number of issues in the vape crisis. So I think it goes back to anytime something is controlled and regulated, that we see that, we see higher quality products. Now, we certainly believe in freedom, not over-regulation, but I think when you're dealing with something that directly affects the human body, as cannabis does, it's an ingestible, then it's important that it be done in a very safe manner. And our laws here in Texas were fantastic on the manufacturing side, requiring this high quality, but perhaps overstepping on the retail side and actually creating a less safe environment for consumers who now are allowed to consume these products, at least on the CBD side, legally, but are going to have to find them in a very gray area, back alley kind of way, because they're not going to be able to go in a store and buy a vape cartridge technically they are right now. We have kind of the 2-week window here. We don't know what's going to happen next week.
Go buy
Let's
them
hope.
now, everyone.
Yeah, let's hope that the courts side on the side of consumer safety here. We don't know what's going to happen, but the law certainly was overstepping and perhaps pushing the boundaries, and kind of having the reverse effect, that we know that our great state of Texas wants to protect consumers, and sometimes things that seem like they're going to protect end up not protecting. And so we hope that the courts will. Yeah, please go ahead, Captain Candace.
Especially because it's a level of ignorance, and that's what we're all here doing, is to educate people. And like we said in previous shows, that we've had several people, customers or partnerships with different ones. When we were manufacturing, one of the gentlemen was looking for the vaporizer, because he says that his child has epilepsy.
An inhaler.
And he says because his child has epilepsy, and the vape pen is working really well for his child, but it looks a little weird for a young kid in elementary school to walk around with a vape pen. So he wanted to have that. But the point is we have to think about medically, and especially with Lee, you could even speak more on that. But these vape pens were really necessary, and so I think that our legislation didn't really have a grasp of the knowledge of what these pens are doing for even youngsters that have problems, and their parents are using these.
Yeah, no doubt.
One of the big problems that they ran into with the vape cartridge was the fact that they were using vitamin E oil. They were cutting substances with vitamin E. And from a medical side of things, that's the last substance that you want inside your lungs. That's what causes the fatalities and the illnesses. So again, it revolves down to a black market where people don't know what they're getting, and it can be cut with anything. And then you have problems like this. And of course, who pays the price? The legitimate people. We're getting blamed and looked at in a negative manner, and we're following the rules. It's the ones that don't. So I think transparency is key. We always preach to people, you're taking something that can have a negative effect if you're not aware of what you're taking. And so by that, you need to research those companies you're buying from, look for those COAs, look for any additional transparency they're able to offer you, so you can have peace of mind in what you're putting into your body, and you don't have to worry about that then. And of course, sometimes that goes along with, unfortunately, all of that costs money as a manufacturer and producer. So yes, your cost associated with that product to bring that safe product to the market is higher. And there's a lot of people who go, well, I want to pay as cheap as possible. Well, you don't know what you're getting with the cheap stuff sometimes. So look for that transparency. I'm not saying it just because it's inexpensive, it isn't safe, but you better be able to find some hard data and facts that support that it is safe to consume in whatever form or fashion you choose to take that product.
Look for the GMP label.
Yeah,
too, huh?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's where that you're purchasing it as well, from an established e-commerce store that you can really tell has their, kind of their stuff together. Just a source of retail store, boutique store, not necessarily gas station isn't going to be a place for you to get educated on CBD. So as a consumer, look for this information from valid sources for sure.
I think another aspect to that I'm really striving for. So I work with pharmacies getting in. I look for people going, where would you go? If you're sick, where are you going to go? You're going to go typically to your doctor or your pharmacist. And so I think that's another key aspect the industry needs to work on. I know I'm doing it as much as possible behind the scenes of, we have to educate the medical professionals out there, because there is a large number of medical professionals that are ignorant on cannabis and just don't know. They're kind of, the same rule. It's always been said it's bad, it's addictive, it's horrible for you. It's our job to go and provide science and facts and educate them. And I found that when you do that, it changes their perspective on treating their patients. And now they can go, you know what? Wow, I didn't know that this could actually do that. And they'll do a little more study. And the next thing you know, we start having a medical community that backs cannabis. And to me, that's going to be imperative when we're fighting the FDA, when we're fighting the federal government, legalization. So the more professionals that have clout and certain letters and stuff before and after their names, that will go a long ways in helping us change the environment in which we operate in the cannabis industry. So people need to understand it's not just grassroots with us on the ground. We need to be going after those professionals that educate them, and let's have them in our corner, and then I think we'll go a long way.
Yeah.
Well, and that's it. What Captain Cannabis is always preaching is that, hey guys, the war is over. It's not time to fight anymore. Put down your weapons. Don't get angry at your congressperson, because if someone comes to you and angry at you and they're yelling at you, you're not going to do shit for them. You know, so it's not time to fight anymore. It's time to educate, calmly teach these people that just don't know. They didn't know. I didn't know at one time. A lot of us just didn't know. And if we reach their hearts, we'll get them to do anything, the right thing. We'll say that, reach their hearts. It's not fighting. It's about educating and sharing and helping them to know that there's a normalcy here and the right thing to do.
And it's not just us as the manufacturers, producers, and sellers. Have your clients, if your clients are having a benefit and are feeling better on it, we need to really encourage our clients and customers to go, hey, share your story with your doctor, share with your pharmacist, because all of us in this group can go and preach to, we're deaf in the ears. That carries some, but the one that's hard to ignore is when you have your own patients coming to you going, let me tell you, you had me on this and it did nothing for me, whereas this has changed my life. You start getting enough patience with that, it's hard to ignore your patients and their stories. So we have
and the last one is your congressman.
Yes.
Share with your congressman, and then let them know how positive of a story it is, not angry, because they've heard enough anger. Let's come and say, hey, this is my son. Look at my son's so much better. And I just want to say, this is so good. And you really need to hear the stories of these. And if the Congress people, everyone starts hearing these stories, it's going to change things a lot faster than trying to fight your way there. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And it goes to the fact of, we didn't get the smokable law passed. It's in limbo. And I hear a lot of people in the industry just thoroughly pissed, irate. I get it. But at the same time, they've left this gray area. Who knows if that was done intentionally or not? But I look at that as going, you know what? It could have been a lot worse. So don't go into our legislators throwing tantrums and fits like spoiled children. We need to go in there and go, cool. You know what? We are so appreciative of the fact that you've gotten us to where we are. Now what can we do to help you to get that other stuff passed? And I think we really need to go about it the right way, because if we go in kicking and screaming like kids, all we have to do is we piss off enough people to go, you know what, this isn't worth it. We're done with this. So you really have to be cautious and use tactics to get hopefully some positive change and just do it right.
Yeah, I think that's so well said, Lee. I totally agree. It's let's take the win and celebrate the wins that we have, just like life. If you can certainly always find a negative in everything, but what good does it really do? Essentially, at the end of the day, when we look at the wins that we've achieved, then that's what's going to keep our mindset, keep us on this path where we're not going to burn out. If we wallow in the things that didn't work out, then that's when, you can experience burnout and other things. So I love that. I love that you're using affiliates with your brand as well. We know the number one way people are hearing about CBD is through friends and family. So it's an important part about the education level. And like you said, going back to your doctor, and we always encourage that when people have questions, like, I'm on this medication, can I take CBD? We're like, go ask your doctor, because that starts the dialogue. And in Austin, we really in the whole state, but particularly in Austin, we find the doctors very willing, They may not be the most educated on it, but they're willing to educate themselves if their patient asks about it. So if you continue that.
What I try to do to clients too that have medical issues and they want to talk to their doctor, I provide them with some basic material, some studies, maybe specific to whatever it is they're combating. And those studies support cannabis or CBD and helping fight whatever it is they're combating. Giving them some literature that is, you know, some studies and research and testimonials, give them something, because again, we're pretty knowledgeable, but our clients are still learning at a basic level. They may not be able to articulate that. So as industry professionals, we need to provide them with the ammunition to take to their doctors to help educate. And that will go a long ways too. Think of that too. If I don't know anybody else that does that, I'm going, hey, you know what? I want to help you out with your doctor too. Yeah, all it is giving and sharing information, but nobody does that because they're afraid of, well, what if the doctor doesn't agree? Oh, okay, whatever. Here's at least information.
Move on. Yeah.
Give them something to take, and don't rely on necessarily your clients to try to articulate what we want to get across, because a lot of times they may get it wrong. So try to support them with information and that they can hand to a doctor.
Yeah,
it's such a great point for sure.
You know, it's like that typical, you know, telephone game. It's like, I tell you something, you tell your friend, you tell so-and-so. Eventually, it's going to be distorted along the way. So it's always good to, you know, give them a site, give them, you know, hey, this is a course you can see, you can watch, you can take. Because not everybody is as familiar or as comfortable even talking about it, or they feel they're too comfortable and then they just say all of these claims, and that's not what we want either. So definitely don't play the telephone game. Just, you know, direct, showing proof. That's the best.
Yeah, definitely. Because like you said, Cynthia, they think, you know, you take it to them and it's like an automatic shutdown. They're like, no CBD, no matter what, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, well, I have some supporting evidence. Why won't you take a look at it? There's doctor, I can see the difference. My doctor has a huge CBD case when you walk in. And I walked into other doctors and they would tell me that, you know, CBD is like snake oil. So it's like one or the other. They're on huge extremes right now. There has to be so much more education put in front of them by the consumers, just like how we go lobby against, you know, we need to lobby with the doctors and tell them, listen to us, you know.
And the doctors aren't wrong. There is a lot of snake oil out there, you know, and so educating the consumers about what to look for, what to spot, you know, ask for, and just key questions that you can identify immediately when you walk into a retail. And if they can't answer these things, don't even buy from there. You know, like we know that if they need to Google something, you can do that too. That's not who you want to go for.
Right.
We can welcome Alex. Alex just joined. She was busy doing some work.
Yeah.
So this is Alex.
Phone call. We had some cool peeps from California who jumped on today.
She's networking across America.
Yes.
I also tell patients too, or clients and customers, if you're dealing with something, if your doctor is so adamant of not even wanting to listen to it, remember the doctor is there for you. Your doctor works for you and getting you healthy. And if they're not even open to listening to something that is actually bringing a positive benefit, I tell people, don't be afraid to go find a new doctor.
That's a great point. That is a great point.
I actually have
an example. You know, we're dealing with it now.
We tend to forget about this from, you know, our politicians. They're civil servants, you know, they're supposed to be working for us. And if enough of us complain, we either need to get a new doctor, a new congressperson, or, you know, something needs to change. But ultimately, you have that power. So
yes, and I think the doctors these days, they lack just, I mean, the basic information that I guess they should know, because of how I think about how many patients in each hospital right now would test positive for THC. Think about how many people out there that use cannabis or hemp, and that these doctors have no literature. They come in maybe to the hospital sick or something. And I'll even tell you this is a personal experience of mine. I was really sick one day. I went to the hospital, and it happened to be a military hospital. And they told me the reason I was sick was because I had THC in my system.
Crazy.
Wow.
They told me
The
it was called, like,
misinformation.
cannabinoid like hyperemesis syndrome. They were like, they threw a huge word at me, and I was like, what are you even talking about? And yeah, it was a mess. So it's hard to, oh man, Texas is going to be a hard one to break. It's going to be so 50-50. You have the ones that want
Maybe,
to listen.
maybe not.
Yeah, and I think we look at the progress. Look
I
at the
think it
progress
also
we've made.
depends on you have to think like a politician on a lot of them. What are they concerned about? Let's be real and frank. What are they really concerned about? It's money.
Votes.
It's
Yeah.
money and votes. And so sometimes I look at it as going into your clients. When I go to talk to a client for anything, I actually do a little research and go, well, what are they about? And I will direct my efforts towards something that they can relate to. Because if they can't relate to it, a lot of times they're not willing to listen. So with dealing with politics, it revolves around money. So sometimes we have to change our tactic in the fact of, all right, let's show them the financial incentive and benefits of passing certain things, of getting this in and making these changes. And sometimes it doesn't matter how good it is. If they start seeing dollar signs and how somehow they can benefit, or the state or budgets can benefit, a lot of times you will get stuff passed way easier than beating your head against the wall talking about health. So again,
Certainly true.
Your demographics.
Yeah, that's a great point. I saw that Kamala Harris, I guess, came out and supported the MORE Act. Certainly long overdue, considering that was put out last year. And, now right up near the election time, we're starting to see more support for it. But that act is a 5% federal tax on cannabis that would legalize it. But obviously there's a huge financial incentive there for the feds to legalize and regulate. And both the DEA and FDA want to get their hands all over that as well, because 5% of all the cannabis sold in America would quite a large sum, no doubt. So we'll see how it works out. We believe that in the end, all these issues are going to be worked out, and we'll be laughing about this in the near future, that it took so long. And we certainly are thankful to all the pioneers that have been out there since the 60s. Really, I guess when you look at it, since 37, trying to overturn these archaic rules on cannabis use in our country and in our great state of Texas. Well,
The
Cynthia,
FDA
do
should
we
be
have
looking at that. There's been edibles since the 60s, and everyone that did that, they're still alive. I mean, Willie Nelson, 88 years old, been doing cannabis, and he just quit smoking cigarettes at 88. Well, he's been smoking. He didn't say he quit smoking weed. That's what the misinformation in that article. But either way, even if he did, he's still edibles.
Yeah, no, he recently came out on a late night show. I think it was Jimmy Kimmel. He was someone's guest artist, and so they asked him that. They were like, Willie, let's just settle this straight. Did you stop smoking pot? And he was like, no.
We got an example right there. FDA, just look at the people that are doing edibles.
So
yeah, for sure. There's an Instagram account that always has memes of people dying in crazy ways, and then it's always like, and still 2 more than have ever died from cannabis, like someone slipped on this and this happened. Still,
I can tell you from 27 plus years of running the streets, I have never ever ran one single call related that was a result of just cannabis. Now, synthetic cannabis and all your other drugs, absolutely. But never one have I ever ran one call on somebody that had cannabis.
It's really opioids.
There you go.
Opioids is the only problem we
I
have.
don't know anybody either. It doesn't exist because it's not realistic. But once you start adding synthetics and other agents that shouldn't be in that, you get away from the natural organic side of that. Absolutely, it's a different story.
There you go. Absolutely.
Yeah, you always have to make sure that, you know, whatever it is you're taking, it's quality things too. You know, they're natural, hopefully organic, but definitely it has to be high quality. And for some people, you know, high quality really is how things look. And that's not what you should be looking into. You know, there's a lot of bud out there that looks pretty and shiny and too green and so purple. And it's like, not all of this is natural, guys. So
absolutely.
yeah, make sure that you're looking at the compounds, the inside that counts.
Got a little botrytis in there.
Yeah,
or mold
sure.
or bugs.
It's almost like when you find the hole in the wall restaurant and it's like the best restaurant ever. And then you go to the fanciest restaurant, it's like the worst food ever.
Exactly. Yeah. Don't be fooled. This kind of, it kind of will tie in and bring us to our Spanish word of the day to finish up. You guys want to hear about it? So
our new segment, the Spanish word of the day, Cynthia, yay!
¿Cómo se dice high quality in Spanish slang? Because you're gonna hear that more. Because buena calidad is your high quality, but when we're talking about cannabis, you know how there's a lot more slang out there.
Call it like cualidad.
It's actually coming from our friends from Puerto Rico. You call it creepy. Almost like you're saying creepy, but don't say that E. So you're saying creepy.
It sounds a little backwards. Is your product creepy or?
Exactly. Yeah. So you want to say, hey, it's creepy. It's creepy. Yeah.
Is your employee creepy?
It's creepy. It's creepy.
That's funny.
Yeah. So just a little, you know, if you hear that, always want to ask, hey, it's creepy esto? Yeah? Okay, we're good. That means
so
it's
creepy
Creep
cáñamo.
up on you, yeah.
Creepy cáñamo, yeah. Creepy cáñamo, creepy cáñaves. Muy bien. Yay! This was an easy one.
Yes, I love it. Creepy, perfect. Amazing, guys. Well, Lee, we appreciate so much having you on today. Hemp Tours team, as always, we did it. We did it. Another week. It was amazing.
I know.
I missed the meat of Lee's spiel, but I was very generous to get that yesterday one-on-one. So thanks for that, Lee.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Thank you for having me on. I'd love to be on again and help share information and just help educate and be a part of something good and holistic. And hopefully, I'm all about doing it I told you yesterday, do the right things for the right reasons. It's that simple. It's that simple.
It really is.
You sound like you're part of the family already, Lee.
Yeah. In case anybody else out there watching did miss it, that's all right. It'll be on YouTube, so it'll be there forever. So you can watch it again.
Awesome. And
Absolutely.
give y'all I'll text whoever I need to text. Let me know. Our website is www.firstresponderfuel.com.
I have it right here, actually.
As a matter of fact, I'll do a special discount code. Anybody that was watching this little hour long of information, when we get offline, I'll get with, let's create a code now so they'll get 20% off. What do we want to come up with? You know what? Let's use the Spanish.
Hemp 20. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Creepy 20.
CRIPY.
Creepy 20.
Yeah.
So,
we'll cut this part out for Instagram as well, so our Instagram followers can use creepy on the First Responder Fuel website and get a nice little sweet discount.
There you go. So we'll use that. I'll put that discount code in as soon as we get off, and that way they'll get 20% off and all of our products.
Sounds good.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, Thanks for joining us
It's great
today,
seeing you
Hemp
again,
Tours
Lee.
family and friends.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
it was great to see you again.
Another great
Thanks for
Thursday.
joining us.
Cue music.
Oh, it's all coffee. Oh no, it's choppy. I love that one of you dancing in your suit.